Samsung fans, if you've been waiting for the next big leap in foldables, a new leak is putting the spotlight on one thing that matters more than any spec sheet: the display. According to a fresh report, the upcoming Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 8 Wide could arrive with Samsung's sharpest foldable screen, yet potentially outperforming not only the Galaxy Z Fold 7, but even Samsung's rumored trifold device. And if that sounds like a bold claim, it is because in 2026, foldable competition isn't just about being thinner or lighter anymore. It's about delivering a screen that finally feels like a true flagship display in every situation: reading, gaming, multitasking, photo editing, outdoors in bright sunlight, and long sessions where your eyes instantly notice softness or color shifts. That's why Sharpest Display is a big deal, and why this Galaxy Z Fold 8 Wide leak is already getting so much attention. Let's break down what Sharpest Display can realistically mean on a foldable like the Galaxy Z Fold 8 Wide without getting lost in marketing terms. When a source claims the sharpest display, they're usually pointing to one or more measurable upgrades: higher pixel density, improved subpixel layout, better text rendering, stronger edge-to-edge clarity, and cleaner detail in high-resolution content. On foldables, sharpness is not only about raw resolution. It's also about how the panel handles the unique challenges of a folding screen, like the crease area, viewing angles, and how light reflects across a flexible display layer. Now, the wide part of the name is where things get really interesting. Many foldable users love the big inner screen but still complain about one thing year after year: the outer display can feel narrow, tall, and a little awkward for everyday use. If Samsung is actually leaning into a Fold 8 Wide identity that suggests a more comfortable, more normal phone-like experience on the cover screen while still giving you a tablet-style display when opened, a wider form factor could also mean a different aspect ratio on the inner panel, which can improve how apps scale, how videos fit, and how multitasking layouts feel. And here's the key: a wider display design can make sharpness even more noticeable when you're working with more usable width, especially for text, web pages, and split-screen apps. Clarity becomes a make-or-break feature. If Samsung wants the Fold 8 Wide to feel like the most premium productivity foldable, it makes sense that the company would prioritize a panel that looks crisper than anything before it. So how could the Galaxy Z Fold 8 Wide beat the Galaxy Z Fold 7 and the Trifold? The Fold 7 is expected to already be strong in typical Samsung fashion: bright AMOLED, smooth refresh rate, and excellent color. The Trifold, on the other hand, sounds like the "look what we can build" product: bigger, more complex, and likely designed to push boundaries. But bigger doesn't always mean sharper. A larger panel can actually reduce pixel density if the resolution doesn't scale up proportionally. That's why it's believable that a Fold 8 Wide could deliver a sharper-looking screen than a larger, more experimental Trifold if Samsung tunes it for maximum crispness and daily usability rather than maximum size. Also, Sharpest can hint at a next-generation display stack, meaning improvements not just in pixels, but in the layers above the panel. In foldables, the top layers matter a lot. They affect glare, reflections, finger feel, stylus response, and the visibility of the crease. Even if Samsung doesn't dramatically change the resolution, refining the panel structure and coating can make the entire screen look clearer, more contrasty, and more ink-like for text. That kind of clarity is what people describe as sharpness, even if the technical definition is more complicated. If this leak is accurate, there are a few real-world upgrades Fold users should hope to see tied to this Sharpest Display claim. First, better text clarity and reduced fuzziness on small fonts. Foldables are productivity devices in disguise: email, documents, spreadsheets, reading, research. If Samsung improves subpixel rendering and pixel density in a way that makes small text cleaner, that's an upgrade you feel every day, not just in demo videos. Second, improved visibility and crispness at lower brightness. A lot of people crank brightness up because foldables can look slightly hazy under some lighting due to reflections and top-layer diffusion. If Samsung has found a way to improve clarity while maintaining durability, the Fold 8 Wide could look sharper even when you're not blasting the screen at maximum brightness. Third, better uniformity around the fold. The crease has improved over generations, but it's still a visual factor, especially with bright content, white backgrounds, and overhead lighting. Any improvement that reduces distortion or glare around the fold line can make the screen feel more premium. And yes, Sharper, because your eyes aren't constantly catching a visual distraction in the center of the display. Fourth, more consistent sharpness across viewing angles. Foldables get used in every posture imaginable: flat, tented, half-opened, propped on a table. If the Fold 8 wide panel maintains crispness and color stability across angles, it will feel like a better display even if the spec numbers only change slightly. Now, let's talk about why Samsung would focus on the display this hard right now. Because in 2026, foldables aren't just competing with each other, they're competing with slab phones that have incredibly sharp, bright, efficient displays at lower prices. For a foldable to justify its premium, the screen has to look unmistakably top tier. Not almost flagship, not great for a foldable. It needs to be the kind of panel that makes you stop noticing. Compromises, and Samsung also has another reason: the foldable market is increasingly defined by experience, not novelty. The first wave of foldable buyers wanted something futuristic. The next wave wants a device that simply feels better to use than a normal phone. That's why a Galaxy Z Fold 8 wide with the sharpest Samsung foldable display could be aimed directly at practical power users, people who want the foldable to replace both their phone and their small tablet, without the little annoyances that add up over time, of course. It's still a leak, and it's worth keeping expectations realistic. Sharpest display can sometimes be a headline-friendly phrase that ends up meaning a modest improvement in pixel density or brightness rather than a dramatic leap you noticed instantly. But even a modest improvement can matter on a foldable because the display is the product. You can upgrade cameras, you can tweak performance, you can polish software, yet the screen is what you touch, what you stare at, and what makes a foldable worth carrying in the first place. If you're comparing the Galaxy Z Fold 8 wide versus Galaxy Z Fold 7, this leak suggests Samsung may be positioning the Fold 8 wide as the best screen option, possibly the most refined, most readable, most premium-looking foldable display Samsung has ever shipped. And if you're curious about the Samsung Trifold, this adds an interesting twist. The biggest device might not be the best-looking device. The Fold 8 wide could be the one that wins on display quality and daily practicality, while the Trifold wins on size and experimentation. So what should you do with this information right now? If you've been planning to upgrade from an older Fold generation, or you've been waiting for a foldable that finally feels less narrow and more natural on the cover screen, the Galaxy Z Fold 8 wide is quickly becoming the model to watch. And if the sharpest display claim holds up as more details leak, like clarity metrics, pixel density, brightness, performance, and crease improvements, this could be the fold that convinces a lot of skeptical buyers that the display compromises are truly shrinking. Keep your eye on the next wave of leaks, because the moment we start hearing specifics, inner display resolution, cover screen size and aspect ratio, panel brightness, behavior, and whether Samsung introduces a new display material stack, that's when we'll know if Samsung's sharpest display is just a catchy line or the start of a real foldable display breakthrough.